Yeah, trunk light is one of those products that I think would work well on that scene on TV. But really, it's something that you'd want to actually use with that gecko material. In other words, you'd need to, you should probably have the patent to the fridge flash clip section J, so that you'd have license to do that. Because that'd probably be, I'm still skeptical about the thing falling off the trunk when you go over a bump, and of course it's automatic, so it'll turn on in your trunk. And it's going to have to require, in all likelihood, special batteries because, of the heat that's required. So, I discussed the batteries in the patent. And they're more expensive than regular batteries, that's for sure. If you can buy them on Amazon, might be able to find a cheap source from in China, I don't know. But, at the end of the day, it's still a special battery. So, and they'd last you plenty of years if you, given how infrequently you get things out of your trunk. But, again, given the temperatures they're exposed to, regular batteries may, start leaking and everything else, in a hot trunk. So it's not advisable to use them, and even in the cold conditions, too. But the batteries I talk about on there work over extended temperature range. And also the magnets, you can't use neodymium magnets. If you do, they'll start, losing their strength quite a damn bit. It doesn't take much heat to do that. So again, with the sunlight pounded down on a hot trunk, that could basically destroy the magnets, to the point where they're not holding the thing on properly anymore. So you're going to have to go with samarium cobalt, which works over an extended period of temperature range, and therefore I think the gecko material, the gecko magnet concept is going to be more necessary than ever, because samarium cobalt you're going to find is a more expensive magnet than neodymium. Just because they're not as popular, because again they're weaker magnets, but they're still rare earth, and they're a lot stronger than like Alnico or ceramic, but generally still not anywhere near as potent as neodymium. So, and there's a certain mass trade-off there too. So if you got a weaker magnet you got to go with, which, like I said, they're still pretty strong magnets, but they are going to be more expensive. I don't know what your Chinese sources can get them for, but the point is I still expect to pay more than neodymium just because of the volumes they're sold in, versus the competing technology. So, at the end of the day, it's why this is still a product, that I'm not really expecting you to want to mess with. I expect to sell it to maybe Energizer or somebody, might want to take it on, and this may end up being one that goes unsold. That's why I'm not charging much for it. So, and try to mitigate your risk absolute minimum on it, just because, there are some technical challenges to doing a light that goes in a trunk that's battery powered. Of course, I also mentioned the patent having a wired version that just simply screws into your existing light socket, that you can locate anywhere you want in there, but you're still going to need some magnets. But at least if it falls off your trunk, because you go over a pothole or something, it's not going to, go through a pothole or something, it's not going to, run your battery down, because it doesn't have batteries, it just runs off your car. So that could work too, but I don't know how patentable that version is, but it's still in my patent just in case. So, it's mentioned in there. So, at the end of the day, one of these versions, have some merit, but, and I think it could sell, because, most car trunks just have really crappy lights in them. They just really do, and this addresses that problem. It's a nice little light. And again, I haven't really run tests in it. I only have one prototype, and I don't have a car with a trunk in it, so with me, it's kind of hard to actually do any field testing with it. But I do have neodymium magnets in it, and I know that won't last long, and, the batteries may or may not last longer than I think, but I just know they could be prone to leak. I certainly do have some other embodiments of this thing in mind, too, including my original idea, which worked differently, but I can't, remember all the details off the top of my head. I don't remember if I mentioned the patent. If I didn't, I don't want to just divulge that freely, because that could certainly be added to the patent later, but, it's new material. But the fact of the matter is, it's just one of those little products that, I think actually would probably work on As Seen on TV, maybe even in a standalone fashion, because it is such a problem. You just don't have a lot of light in most trunks, even these days. And it's just nice to actually put the light really where you need it. And also, it's removable, so you can, since it's magnetic, so, you can use it as a flashlight, looking around your car or whatnot, too, if you need to. So, but again, I do have better embodiments in mind for, using that. It's just, in fact, I'm not confident I'm going to sell this thing. I don't want to waste any more time on it than necessary. So I built one because, again, it's been on my list for over 15 years. But, that's why I was really kind of motivated to build one, just to prototype it. It's actually a difficult problem, trying to come up with a switch that wouldn't go off every time you went over a bump. That's why the switch part of it's actually fairly elaborate, although I know the whole thing could be shrunk down, smaller than I have it, but still trying to come up with a good bump-proof switch, that was a bit of a trick, and that's what a part of the patent is, but I do have an alternative way of doing it, which, again, I don't think I mentioned in the text, but, again, at least it can be new matter, but I'd come up with a totally alternative way that will work. But I haven't designed it yet or anything, so, because again, I don't want to waste any time on something that nobody may be interested in, so, interested in pursuing because of the technical problems, they're not really problems, they're solvable, and really solved. It's just, it will add cost to it in unexpected ways, due to the magnet expense and extra battery expense, but I guarantee you're going to have to supply the first batteries to this, and have a way of replacing the batteries. That's why I think an Energizer might be better, because they're in the battery business. And they do make those kind of batteries, so, they might work out some special deal or something with people. But generally, you can't just go down to Home Depot and buy these kind of batteries. I forgot what they were, what they're called, but they are a battery that will work over the temperature range we need. So, in any event, the point is that, I don't know. I expect to be taking this one to Duracell or Energizer or somebody, because it will help sell batteries for them. Because I do think these would sell, to some degree or another. It's just they're going to end up being a little pricier than one might expect. But, I still think something like this could, be put on the market for, the sub $20 a piece range, probably, but, don't quote me on that. I think it's plausible they could be, particularly if it's sourced from China. It could even be in the sub $10 range, but, but it's just hard to say. It's something you guys are going to have to take a look at, and, again, just look at the patent. I got the stuff to look for in there, mentioned in there, so you can investigate it. And again, of course, the design can be different than this, but, again, trying to do some of this stuff with 3D printers was tough. So it's a little elaborate, but, the point is that it's certainly simplifiable and, can be done in, different ways. So at the end of the day, though, have a look at it, because I think it would sell possibly at least, I don't want to say probably, but possibly as a standalone product. Now, definitely some sort of an automotive-related bonus product, it would definitely sell really well. But, again, given the fact it's on the expensive side, it's almost going to have to work standalone, unless that automotive product happens to be expensive, which I know you guys typically don't like dealing in expensive products. So, or at least Telebrands doesn't, if you're the one that's listening to it. If you're not Telebrands, because I've already talked to them, well, maybe you do. So, anyway, those are kind of my thoughts on it. Again, not every product I'm bringing you here is a jewel. It's just a cross-section, of my whole IP base. And that's what I'm saying, some products are lower ranking than others. And that's the whole point. But I just want to give you a good cross-section. Because when I walk into your door and say, I've got 2,000 patentable inventions, and marketable inventions in my notebooks, I don't want you to think I'm some crackpot. I'm trying to give you a good, actual, realistic sample of the quality of IP I offer. You know, again, I'm not some crackpot. Most people that make that kind of claim really are crackpots. And the fact of the matter is, I'm not. I'm not. I'm the real deal. And like I said, this really is a good representative statistic, you know, of the kind of IP, again, ranging from my not so good, you know, not so crazy ideas, not so crazy sellable ideas, crazily sellable ideas, you know, is what I'm trying to say, you know, but, you know, all the way up to ideas that, you know, honestly, buckle your seatbelts. And again, this certainly does not represent all of my really good ideas, you know, that you're seeing in this body of IP here. Just a sample. So, you know, of what's to come. And, because again, as I've said before, elsewhere, I'm sure, I'm not just trying to sell IP here, the current IP in front of you. I'm trying to sell a long-term relationship. That's what I'm, you know, trying to do here, because I got a lot of IP, and I need established channels to take it through, you know, without so much hassle. So it's good to establish relationships like this with people, you know, where I have kind of a known quantity of people I'm working with. It's just nice. It, you know, kind of shaves some time off of it. So anyway, do with this what you will, and, you know, if you don't want it, I'll hopefully find somebody that does. So, anyway,